Welcome to my YouTube channel. The invitation arrives. The morning sunlight spilled through the window of Emma's small apartment, landing softly across the breakfast table where Liam sat, swinging his legs, chewing on a piece of toast far too big for his mouth. "Mum, look, a letter," he said, holding up a cream-colored envelope that had just slipped through the door slot. Emma smiled faintly, wiping her hands on a towel as she walked over. Her smile faded the moment she saw the golden embossed seal, Sophie and Adam's wedding. Her best friend was getting married, but her heart thudded for another reason, because Sophie's fiancé, Adam, happened to be Daniel's cousin. 9 years. 9 long, lonely years since she last saw Daniel Reed. She held the envelope in her trembling hands. She still remembered his eyes, those deep brown eyes that once made her world stop, that once filled her nights with promises he didn't keep. "Open it, Mum," Liam said excitedly. She forced a smile and tore the envelope. Inside was an elegant wedding card and a handwritten note from Sophie. "Emma, you must come. You were there when my love story began. You have to be there when it ends at the altar. Bring Liam too. He'll love the big garden and the music. Please say yes, Sophie." Emma folded the letter. Her hands trembled. She had avoided Daniel's world for almost a decade. Their lives had broken apart like glass, too many shards, too much pain. But Sophie was like family, and saying no would raise questions she wasn't ready to answer. She took a deep breath. "All right," she whispered to herself. "It's just a wedding, just one night." She didn't know then that the one night would reopen every scar she had buried. Scene 2. Memories of the past. That evening, after putting Liam to bed, Emma sat alone by the window, staring at the old photograph she had kept hidden inside a drawer. Her wedding photo. She and Daniel stood in front of a church, smiling, their fingers intertwined. He looked at her like she was his entire universe. Back then, she was 24, in love and fearless. Daniel was charming, ambitious, full of dreams. But life after marriage had been nothing like the fairy tale she imagined. He changed. The late nights at work, the missed dinners, the empty promises, and then the betrayal. The night she discovered the truth that Daniel had been seeing someone else, her world shattered. She remembered standing in their kitchen, holding the photo frame, tears streaming down her face. "Why, Daniel?" she had whispered. He didn't answer. He just turned away. The next day, she packed her bags and left with nothing but her unborn child and a broken heart. She never looked back. Until now.
The wedding venue was breathtaking, a countryside estate surrounded by fields of lavender. Fairy lights twinkled like stars across the evening sky. Emma wore a simple pale blue dress. Her hair was tied up neatly, her makeup soft. She looked beautiful, but her eyes carried a quiet fear. Liam ran ahead, his little suit slightly oversized. "Mom, there's a chocolate fountain." Emma smiled. "Go ahead, sweetheart. But not too much, okay?" She was still scanning the crowd when she froze. There he was, Daniel Reed, standing across the garden, tall, confident, dressed in a navy blue suit. He looked older, sharper jawline, a few gray strands in his hair, but still painfully handsome. Their eyes met, and in that moment, the world blurred. 9 years vanished like mist. He blinked, disbelief written all over his face. She turned away, pretending to look for Sophie. Her heart raced. What was he thinking? Did he even recognize her? Scene 4. The unexpected encounter. "Emma!" Sophie's voice broke through the noise as she rushed over, glowing in her bridal gown. "You came," she said, hugging her tightly. "Oh my God, I missed you so much." Emma smiled. "I couldn't miss your big day. And this must be Liam." Sophie crouched down. "You're adorable. You look just like your mom." Emma's smile faltered for a split second, because if anyone looked closely, too closely, they'd notice something else. The shape of his jaw, the deep brown eyes, the same dimples that appeared when he laughed. Liam wasn't supposed to look that much like Daniel. Sophie stood up, brushing her tears. "Come on, Emma. I want you to meet someone." Before Emma could stop her, Sophie turned toward the bar area, and there he was again. "Daniel, Daniel," Sophie called out cheerfully. "You remember Emma, right?" He turned slowly, his expression unreadable. His gaze fell on Emma, then on Liam. "I remember," he said quietly. Emma swallowed hard. "Hello, Daniel." He nodded once. Emma. It was the first time he had said her name in 9 years, and it still felt like a dagger. Liam tugged at her hand. "Mom, is he your friend?" She forced a smile. Just someone I used to know, sweetheart. Daniel's eyes flickered pain, confusion, regret all mixed together. Scene 5. The dance floor. Later that night, the music began. Guests filled the dance floor. Emma stood in a corner, watching Sophie and Adam share their first dance as husband and wife. Daniel stood across the room, his drink untouched. Every few minutes, his gaze drifted to her and to Liam. She tried to avoid his eyes, but memories kept flashing. Their wedding, the laughter, the day she found the courage to walk away. Her chest tightened. "Mom," Liam said suddenly, holding her hand. "That man, he keeps looking at me." Emma's breath caught. "Maybe he thinks you're cute," she whispered. Liam tilted his head, curious. "He looks sad." She didn't answer. Then Sophie appeared again, slightly drunk, dragging Emma toward the dance floor. "Come on, Em. It's my wedding, you have to dance." Emma laughed nervously. "Sophie, I haven't danced in years." But before she could finish, Sophie had already spun her into the crowd. And suddenly, Daniel was there, standing right in front of her. "May I?" he asked, his voice low, polite, but trembling. Her throat tightened. "I don't dance anymore." He smiled faintly. "You used to." The music swelled a slow, haunting melody. Reluctantly, she placed her hand in his. The moment their skin touched, a storm broke inside her. They began to sway. Neither spoke. For a while, it felt like time folded. Two souls pretending the years between them never existed. Then Daniel whispered, "Is he?" Emma froze. "Don't," she said quickly. He swallowed. "Emma, don't ruin this night, Daniel, please." Her voice trembled. "You lost the right to ask questions a long time ago." He let out a shaky breath, guilt flooding his face. "I never stopped thinking about you," he said softly. She closed her eyes. "Then why did you let me walk away?" The song ended. She stepped back, "Goodbye, Daniel," and walked away before he could see her tears. Scene 6. The little boy's words. Later that night, Emma sat on a bench outside the venue, watching the stars. Liam was dozing off beside her, his head resting on her shoulder. "Mom," he murmured sleepily. "That man, the one in the blue suit." Emma stiffened. "Yes, sweetheart. He came outside a few minutes ago. He looked really sad." She stayed silent. Then Liam said something that made her heart stop. "He said he wants to hug me." Her breath caught. "What?" Liam rubbed his eyes. "He said I remind him of someone he loved." Tears welled up in her eyes before she could stop them. She turned her face away, gripping the bench so hard her knuckles turned white. The wind whispered through the lavender fields, carrying the scent of old memories, and the ache of all the words she never said. Behind her, unseen, Daniel stood by the doorway watching her, tears in his own eyes. For the first time in 9 years, he realized what he had truly lost. Morning after the wedding. The next morning, Emma tried to pack quickly before Liam woke up. Her fingers trembled as she folded his small shirt and stuffed it into the suitcase. The wedding had felt like a wound reopening, and now, she needed to escape before it bled again. But as she zipped the bag, there was a soft knock at the door. Her heart stilled. "Emma?" His voice. Daniel's. She closed her eyes, fighting back the emotions threatening to break through. When she opened the door, he stood there, dressed casually this time, his expression hesitant but determined. "I didn't mean to disturb you," he said quietly. "I just wanted to talk." "There's nothing left to say," Emma replied, her voice cold, even though her heart pounded painfully. He looked at her. "You." He looked at her, his eyes soft. "I know I deserve that, but please, 5 minutes." She sighed. "Fine, 5 minutes." He stepped inside, looking around the small guest room. There was nothing fancy, just 2 suitcases, a few toys scattered on the bed, and Liam's little shoes by the door. His gaze lingered there a little too long. "You look good," he said finally. "Different, but the same somehow." She looked away. "Flattery doesn't erase the past, Daniel." He nodded. "I'm not here to erase it. I just want to understand it." Scene 2. Conversation full of ghosts. "Understand what?" she asked sharply. "Why I left. You already know that." He took a deep breath. "I know I hurt you, Emma. I was stupid, selfish, too focused on my career to see what I was destroying. But that night, I never got to explain." Emma's voice broke. "Explain what? That you lied to me? That I found another woman's earring in our bed?" He closed his eyes in shame. It wasn't what it looked like. She laughed bitterly. "Oh, please. Do you even remember how I begged you to just tell me the truth? You didn't even try." "I was scared," he admitted. "I didn't want to lose you, but I was already losing myself." Her tears fell silently. "You lost me the moment you stopped being honest." Silence filled the room, thick, suffocating. Then Daniel's gaze shifted to the small drawing pinned on the wall. It was Liam's stick figure family, a woman, a boy, and an empty space beside them with a faint outline drawn in pencil. He pointed at it gently. "That's beautiful. Did Liam draw this?" Emma froze. "Yes." He hesitated. "Who's the man?" Her heart skipped. "It's no one." But the light trembled in her voice, and Daniel heard it. His eyes softened with realization, pain washing over his face like a tide. "Emma," he whispered. "How old is he?" She backed away, shaking her head. "Don't do this, Daniel." "Emma." His voice broke. "Please. Tell me." Her throat tightened. 8. He closed his eyes. 8 years. 8 years since she left. When he opened them again, tears glistened there. "He's mine, isn't he?" Emma turned away, her body trembling. "I didn't want you to know," she whispered. "You didn't deserve him." Scene 3. The truth finally spoken. Daniel sank onto the chair, burying his face in his hands. All those years, the sleepless nights, the guilt, the endless business meetings that couldn't fill the emptiness inside him, and now, he understood why. He hadn't just lost Emma, he had lost his son. He looked up, voice trembling. "You should have told me." Emma crossed her arms, her eyes filled with tears. "And what would that have changed? You were already gone. You made your choice, Daniel. You chose ambition over love, pride over family." "I would have chosen him," he whispered. "Would you?" she snapped. "You didn't even choose me." He swallowed hard. "You're right. I was blind back then. I didn't know what mattered until everything was gone." Emma looked at him, her heart twisting painfully. For a moment, she saw not the man who broke her, but the man she once loved. Then a small voice came from behind them. "Mom?" They both turned. Liam stood in the doorway, rubbing his eyes, his hair messy from sleep. "Are you crying?" he asked softly. Emma knelt beside him, brushing his cheek. "No, sweetheart. It's okay. We were just talking." Liam looked at Daniel. "You again?" he said curiously. "You were at the wedding." Daniel smiled weakly. "Yes, I was." Liam studied him for a moment. "You look familiar." Emma's heart clenched. Daniel blinked, trying not to cry. Me because you remind me of someone I used to love very much." Liam smiled shyly. "Mom?" "Yes, sweetheart. Can he come with us when we go home?" Emma froze. Daniel's lips parted, his voice trembling. "That's not up to me, Liam." Emma swallowed hard. "Go get dressed, honey. We'll leave soon." Liam nodded and ran back inside, humming softly. The moment he was gone, Daniel turned to her. "Emma, please, don't shut me out again. Let me be part of his life. I don't care what it takes." Her voice shook. "You think you can just walk back in, after 9 years?" "I'm not asking for forgiveness," he said quietly. "Just a chance to be a father." She looked at him for a long time, then whispered, "You had your chance, Daniel, and you lost it." She grabbed her suitcase, turned away, and left. Scene 4. The letter he left. 2 days later, back in her apartment, Emma tried to focus on work, but her thoughts kept circling back to him. To the way his eyes filled with tears when he saw Liam. To the way he whispered, "He's mine." Then, one evening, there was another envelope at her door. No return address, no name, just a folded piece of paper inside. Her hands trembled as she opened it. "Emma, I know you don't owe me anything, but I owe you everything: an apology, a truth, and a lifetime of regret. I didn't come to destroy your peace. I just wanted to see him once our son, to know he's real, to know that somewhere in this world, a part of us survived. If you ever decide he deserves to know the truth, I'll be waiting. Not to take him from you, but to love him the way I should have loved both of you from the start." Daniel. Her tears blurred the words. She wanted to hate him. She wanted to forget, but a part of her heart still ached not for the man he was, but for the man he could have been. She folded the letter, placed it in a box beside their old wedding photo, and whispered, "You'll never hurt us again." But deep down, she knew the story wasn't over. Scene 5. A chance encounter. Weeks passed. Life fell back into rhythm. School runs, work shifts, bedtime stories. One evening, Emma and Liam stopped by a local bookstore. Liam had fallen in love with reading lately, something that made her proud. He ran toward the children's section while Emma browsed through a shelf of novels. Then, a voice spoke softly behind her. "Didn't think I'd find you here." She froze. Daniel. He stood a few feet away, holding a book in his hand, wearing a gentle smile. She sighed. "Are you following us now?" He shook his head. "No, I'm here often. This is coincidence." "Right," she muttered. They stood awkwardly for a moment, surrounded by shelves of stories, none as complicated as theirs. Daniel finally said, "He's grown up well. You've done an amazing job, Emma." Her expression softened a little. "He's my whole world." "I can see that." He paused. "Does he know?" She shook her head. "No, and he won't. Not yet." He nodded sadly. "You're protecting him from me." "I'm protecting him from the pain I went through." Daniel lowered his gaze. "Then let me earn your trust, even if it takes years." Emma looked at him, the sincerity in his eyes, the quiet ache in his voice, and something inside her shifted, just a little. Before she could reply, Liam came running toward them, waving a book. "Mom, look. It's the one about the shooting star." Then he turned to Daniel. "Hi again." Daniel smiled, kneeling down. "Hey, champ. That's a good choice." Liam grinned. "You like stars too?" Daniel nodded. "I used to tell your mom about them all the time." Emma's eyes flickered with memory. Late nights on the balcony, Daniel tracing constellations in the sky, promising her the moon. Liam laughed. "Then maybe you can tell me sometime." Before Emma could stop him, Daniel's eyes softened. "I'd like that." And for the first time in 9 years, Emma didn't pull her son away. Scene 6. A faint beginning. That night, after putting Liam to bed, Emma sat by the window again, the same place she had once cried over Daniel's betrayal. But tonight felt different. The air outside was calm. The stars shimmered above the city skyline. She thought of the way Liam smiled at Daniel. How natural it looked. How warm it felt. Maybe some stories weren't meant to end in hatred. Maybe they just needed time and distance to remember love. She whispered softly into the night, "Maybe someday, Daniel. Maybe someday." The first visit. It had been 3 weeks since that encounter in the bookstore. Emma thought Daniel would vanish again, like he always did, into work, into silence, into the comfort of forgetting. But he didn't. He started appearing in the smallest, most unexpected ways. Not intrusive, but present. A phone call asking if Liam could join a local kids' football club. An email suggesting a children's reading event. Always polite, always hesitant. At first, Emma ignored him, but Liam, with his endless curiosity and big brown eyes, made that impossible. "Mom," he said one evening, "Mr. Daniel said there's a science fair this weekend. Can we go?" Emma looked up from the sink, startled. "He called you?" Liam grinned. "No, he told my teacher he's helping at school now." She froze. At school? Sure enough, that weekend, when she took Liam to the fair, Daniel was there wearing a volunteer badge, helping kids launch paper rockets into the sky. When he saw them, he smiled, not the confident businessman smile she remembered, but something gentler, more genuine. "Hey, champ," he said to Liam, crouching down. "Ready to make your rocket fly?" Liam nodded eagerly, completely oblivious to the invisible current between the two adults watching him. As Daniel guided Liam's small hands to the pump, Emma stood silently nearby. She wanted to be angry for him showing up, for breaking the wall she built. But when she saw the joy on Liam's face, she couldn't. When the paper rocket finally soared into the sky, Liam squealed, "Look, Mom, we did it." Daniel smiled, watching them both. "He's brilliant, Emma." Her voice softened despite herself. "He is." For a brief second, their eyes met, and it felt like 9 years melted away. Scene 2. The dinner invitation. That evening, as Emma tucked Liam into bed, he whispered, "Mom." "Yes, sweetheart. Can we invite Mr. Daniel for dinner sometime? he doesn't have anyone to eat with. He said he eats alone a lot. Emma's heart ached. She hesitated. We'll see, honey. But Liam's pleading eyes made it impossible to say no. 2 days later, Daniel was standing awkwardly at her door, holding a bottle of wine and a small box of chocolates. You didn't have to bring anything, Emma said quietly. He smiled faintly. Old habits. Liam came running. Mr. Daniel, come sit. Mom made pasta. Dinner was simple laughter, awkward silences, stories about Liam's school. Daniel listened intently, his eyes softening every time Liam spoke. Halfway through the meal, Liam said something that made Emma's fork freeze midair. Mr. Daniel, can I call you Uncle? Daniel blinked. Uncle? Yeah, you're nice. And Mom said I can only call nice people that. Emma gave him a helpless smile. That's fine, Liam. But Daniel's voice cracked as he answered, I'd like that. The word uncle hit him like a knife and a blessing all at once. He wanted to say, you can call me Dad. But he couldn't, not yet. Scene 3, glimpse of hope. After dinner, Liam fell asleep on the couch, his head resting on a book. Emma placed a blanket over him, then turned to Daniel, who was quietly washing dishes. You don't have to do that, she said softly. He smiled faintly. I don't mind. It feels nice, normal. She watched him, his sleeves rolled up, his movements careful. For the first time, she saw not the man who betrayed her, but the man who might be trying to make things right. Why are you doing this, Daniel? She asked finally. He paused. Because I lost too much time already. Her voice trembled. And what if it's too late? He looked up, meeting her eyes. Then at least I'll know I tried. For a moment, neither spoke. The only sound was the quiet hum of the night, the rhythm of their unspoken pain. Then Emma whispered, you hurt me more. Whispered, you hurt me more than anyone ever could. I know. And yet, she said, her voice barely audible, you're the only one I can't seem to hate completely. Daniel swallowed hard, emotion flooding his face. Emma, he said, stepping closer, I don't expect forgiveness. I just want to be near you both, to make sure he never feels what we did. She looked at him for a long moment, then turned away. Good night, Daniel. But as he walked to the door, she stopped him. Daniel? He turned. Thank you for trying. It was the smallest kindness, but for him, it felt like the world. Scene 4, a father's heart. Over the next few weeks, Daniel became a quiet part of their lives. He picked Liam up from school sometimes, attended soccer matches, and helped with homework. Liam adored him, and Emma, though she tried to deny it, felt a strange comfort watching them together. One Sunday morning, she woke up to laughter in the kitchen. She peeked through the doorway. Daniel and Liam were flipping pancakes, or trying to. Half of them landed on the counter, the other half burned. Liam giggled uncontrollably. Uncle Daniel, you're bad at this. Daniel laughed. Hey, I'm learning. When he saw Emma at the door, he smiled sheepishly. We were trying to surprise you. She smiled. Well, surprise achieved. It was such a simple, ordinary moment. But for Emma, it felt extraordinary. Because for the first time in 9 years, her house was filled with laughter again. Scene 5, the unspoken truth. Later that day, after Liam left for his friend's house, Daniel lingered. They stood in the doorway, sunlight streaming between them. Emma, he said quietly, he deserves to know. Her eyes darkened. No, he's old enough to understand. You can't keep lying to him forever. Her voice rose. I'm not lying. I'm protecting him. From what? He asked. From me? She turned away. From heartbreak. Daniel's voice cracked. I'm not the same man, Emma. Maybe not. But I'm not the same woman either. He stepped closer, his voice trembling. Then let's start as who we are now, not who we were. She looked up at eyes glistening. And if it breaks us again, then I'll be the one to take the fall. The silence that followed was heavy, filled with all the things they couldn't say. Finally, she whispered, I'll think about it. And that was the first crack in the wall she had built for 9 long years. Scene 6, the photo. That night, Emma tucked Liam in and noticed a photo beside his pillow when she hadn't seen before. It was of him and Daniel at the science fair, both laughing, both holding the paper rocket. Her throat tightened. On the back, in Liam's messy handwriting, were the words, Me and Uncle D, he feels like home. She pressed the photo to her chest and cried silently for the years lost, for the love buried under pride, and for the little boy who unknowingly held both their hearts together. Scene 7. The night it rained. 2 weeks later, a storm hit the city. Thunder roared outside. Lightning flashed across the sky. Emma was at home alone when her phone rang. It was the school. "Miss Carter," the voice said urgently, "your son got caught in the storm after practice. He's fine, but he's waiting for someone to pick him up." Her heart pounded. She grabbed her keys, but before she could leave, headlights appeared outside. Daniel stepped out of his car, soaked, carrying Liam in his arms, wrapped in his coat. He was scared, Daniel said softly, setting Liam on the couch. Liam hugged him tightly. "You came for me." Daniel smiled, brushing his hair back. "Always, champ." When Liam finally fell asleep, Emma whispered, "Thank you." Daniel shook his head. "You don't have to thank me. He stopped himself. Emma looked at him, tears in her eyes. "You can say it." His voice broke. "He's my son." And for the first time, she didn't correct him. Scene 8. The breaking point. Later that night, as rain drummed against the windows, Emma stood in the hallway, watching Daniel dry Liam's hair with the towel. He looked so natural, so gentle, as if this was how it was always meant to be. Something inside her broke. Not from pain, but from surrender. When he turned, she whispered, "He deserves the truth." Daniel froze. "Are you sure?" She nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. "He has your eyes, your laugh. He's asked too many questions lately. I can't keep lying." He stepped closer, his voice trembling. "Emma, thank you." She looked at him through her tears. "Don't thank me. Just don't break him like you broke me." He reached out slowly, wiping a tear from her cheek. "Never again." Their eyes met, two souls bound by regret, love, and the fragile hope of something new. The morning of truth. The rain had stopped by morning, but the air still smelled of thunder. Emma sat at the edge of her bed, staring at her reflection in the mirror, tired eyes, trembling hands. It was time. Liam was in the living room, eating cereal and humming softly. Daniel stood by the window, quiet, anxious. Emmy entered, her voice soft but steady. "Liam, sweetheart, can you come sit for a minute? Mom and Mr. Daniel need to talk to you." He looked up, curious. "Am I in trouble?" "No, honey," she smiled faintly. "We just want to tell you something important." Liam sat between them on the couch, swinging his legs. Emma took a deep breath, her heart pounding so hard it hurt. "You know how sometimes people make mistakes, but still love each other very much." He nodded slowly. "When I broke your vase, but said sorry?" Daniel smiled sadly. "Something like that." Emma swallowed hard. "Liam, there's something I haven't told you. Something about where you come from." Liam frowned. "Okay." She looked at Daniel, then back at her son. "The man sitting beside you, he's not just my friend." Liam blinked. "He's not?" Her voice trembled. "No, sweetheart. He's your father." For a moment, the world went silent. Liam stared at her, confused, then turned slowly to Daniel. "My dad?" Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, Liam, I'm your dad." Liam's lower lip quivered. "But where were you all this time?" Daniel reached out, his voice breaking. "I made mistakes, buddy. Big ones. I hurt your mom, and because of that, I lost both of you. But I've thought about you every single day since before you were even born." Liam's eyes shimmered. "You knew about me?" Daniel shook his head. "No, well, until the wedding. But the moment I saw you, I knew." Silence. Then, tears filled Liam's eyes. "You're really my dad?" Daniel nodded. "I am. And I love you more than I can ever say." For a second, Liam just looked at him, then he suddenly crawled into Daniel's arms, hugging him tightly. "I wanted to hug you that day," Liam whispered through his tears. "I told Mom you wanted to hug me." Daniel broke down completely, holding him close, his tears falling into his son's hair. Emma covered her mouth, sobbing silently. 9 years of pain washed away in that single moment. Scene 2. The fear returns. Later that evening, after putting Liam to bed, Emma stood outside on the porch. The night was calm, moonlight glinting on the wet pavement. Daniel joined her quietly. "Thank you," he said softly, "for telling him, for letting me be part of his life." She sighed. He deserved to know. And you deserved a chance, even if I'm still afraid. He nodded. I understand. I'll take whatever you can give. She looked at him. Daniel, I don't want him to think families are perfect. I want him to know we're trying. But I also want to protect him from the pain that nearly destroyed me. He stepped closer. I'll spend the rest of my life proving you can trust me again, Emma. Her eyes met his, and for the first time in years, she didn't see the man who broke her, she saw the man who had finally learned how to love. Scene 3, the school event. A few weeks later, Liam's school held a family day. Each child was asked to bring their parents and talk about what family meant to them. Emma almost backed out, nervous about being around Daniel in public. But when Liam said, "Please, Mom, both of you come," she couldn't say no. When they arrived, Daniel knelt beside Liam and adjusted his tie. "You ready, champ?" Liam grinned. "Yeah. I'm going to tell them my family is the best." Emma smiled, though tears prickled her eyes. When it was Liam's turn to speak, he climbed onto the stage, holding a small paper heart. "My family is my mom," he began proudly, "because she takes care of me and gives the best hugs." Everyone smiled. "And my dad," he continued, his voice loud and clear, "because even though he wasn't with us for a long time, he came back, and now I have 2 hugs instead of 1. Emma covered her mouth, trembling. Daniel's eyes glistened. Then Liam said softly, "Families don't have to be perfect. They just have to love each other." The audience clapped, and as Liam jumped off the stage, he ran straight into his parents' arms, one on each side, holding him like he was the center of their world. Scene 4, the apology. That evening, after the event, Daniel asked to speak to Emma alone. They walked by the park where they used to meet years ago, where she had once told him she was pregnant, and he had promised her forever. Now, under the same lamppost, he took a deep breath. "Emma, there's something I need to say, not as Liam's father, but as the man who hurt you." She stayed silent. "I was stupid. I thought success could fix everything. I thought if I built a world big enough, the guilt would disappear. But it didn't. It just made the silence louder." He stepped closer, his voice shaking. "You were my home, Emma, and I burned it down. I can't change the past, but if there's even the smallest part of you that still believes in me, I'll spend every day making sure you never regret letting me back in." Tears filled her eyes. "I don't know if I can love you the way I used to." He nodded. "Then let me earn a different kind of love. One built on truth this time." She looked up at him, and for the first time in 9 years, she didn't see regret, she saw hope. She whispered, May we can start over." For Liam. Daniel's voice cracked. "For all of us." And this time, when he reached for her hand, she didn't pull away. Scene 5, the beach day. Months later, the 3 of them stood by the shore, the sun setting in shades of gold and crimson. Liam chased seagulls, laughing, while Daniel and Emma sat on the sand, watching him. "He's happy," Daniel said softly. "He is," Emma replied. "Thank you for letting me be here." She smiled faintly. "You didn't just come back for him, Daniel. You came back for yourself." He nodded. "I came back for the family I should have never lost." They sat in silence, waves brushing their feet. Then Liam ran back, carrying 3 seashells. "One for each of us," he said proudly. "Now, we're always together." He placed one in Emma's hand, one in Daniel's, and kept one for himself. Emma felt tears sting her eyes as she whispered, "Forever, then." "Forever," Daniel echoed, squeezing her hand. Scene 6, the final letter. That night, after putting Liam to bed, Emma opened her old box again, the one filled with memories she once tried to bury. Inside was Daniel's old letter, the one he wrote after the wedding. She unfolded it slowly and smiled faintly. Beside it, she placed a new one. "Daniel, for years, I hated you. I hated myself. I thought love was a wound that never healed. But I was wrong. It isn't what breaks us, it's what helps us heal. Thank you for coming back. Not to erase the past, but to honor it. Thank you for giving our son the father he deserves. And maybe, one day, when the hurt fades completely, I'll let myself love you again, not because of who you were,